Hey, so in SEO analysis number 1, I'm going to analyze Rotten Tomatoes. And this is a new training series that I'm going to be publishing on my YouTube channel, hopefully every single week. And so I'm just going to be analyzing different websites and then giving you practical information that you can use for your own campaigns. And I also have some other big news. If you're someone who wants to get access to our premium SEO training course, Gotch SEO Academy, which is a value of $997, you can enter our free giveaway. And all you have to do to qualify is subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, and like this video and all the preceding videos. And we're gonna select one person who's gonna get lifetime access to this course. All right, so let's jump into SEO analysis number 1 of Rotten Tomatoes. Okay guys, so I am going to start this audit, and don't mind my raspy voice because I haven't been feeling too great, but the first website that I want to do a complete analysis on is Rotten Tomatoes. And my real goal of this is so that you can learn based on kind of my thought process that goes behind trying to optimize a site of this nature. And I'm going to do many different types of websites. So that means I'm going to do not just huge monster websites like Rotten Tomatoes, but I'll also do some more medium to even small sized websites. So if you want me to audit your website publicly, I can do that as well. And one thing that's really interesting you'll notice is the thought process that goes behind trying to optimize a website like Rotten Tomatoes compared to trying to optimize a micro or smaller website is going to be totally and radically different. So when you're working with a website that's already successful from an SEO perspective, you have to be a lot more careful with the actions that you take. And so in this case, we know that Rotten Tomatoes is a very successful website. And so to prove that, what we'll do is we'll go to Ahrefs, and you'll see I already completed a search for them. And according to Ahrefs, their Ahrefs rank is around 2,600. I don't really care a whole lot about that. What I really care about is looking at their organic keywords, and we'll go ahead and filter this to see. So what you'll notice is they get a ton of branded searches, and something that's actually interesting is they get branded plus the keyword target as well. So this is a very, very big trust signal for them. And so Google's going to see this and say, oh, wow, people are really interested in seeing what Rotten Tomatoes thinks about these particular keywords. That's the way that Google is looking at it. And so this is a very, very important thing. So if you're creating content, you're creating keyword targeted pages, you would want to see these types of search queries because this is a huge trust signal. And so that's the first thing. And getting branded searches in general is a huge trust signal. And so the way that you get branded searches is, unfortunately, there is no easy way. The only way to get branded searches is through adding a ton of value. And that's exactly what Rotten Tomatoes does and has been doing for a very long time. And so they're very deserving of these branded searches. So then the next thing I would do is I'd want to look at their current keywords that are not branded. So they're non-branded keywords, and see if there are any opportunities where they can increase the amount of long tail search traffic going to these pages. So what I would do is I would go to this position filter, and I would do from 11. And what this is going to do is going to show us all of the keywords that they're currently on the second page for. And so what you'd want to do is you'd want to try to optimize these pages more so that you can push these keywords to the first page. So, and either it may be the process of adding more content to the page. That's usually the best bet. But the other thing you could do is you can actually drive more backlinks to these specific landing pages. So let's take a look at this particular landing page. So you'll notice that if you analyze Rotten Tomatoes website, you're going to notice that they do a lot of things really, really well from an SEO perspective. So first of all, they know how to optimize their title tags, which is the most basic element of SEO. But the other thing they do really well, they really focus on hammering their target keyword per page. So in this case, this page is about nothing but Ricky and Morton season 3, not anything else. And so what you'll see is they use a combination of different media types, and this increases the dwell time on each page on their website, which as a result is going to increase the trust. So they have 5 total videos here, and this is really great because what happens when you click on this, you're actually going to stay on the page here. You're not going to leave the page. And so it just opens a light box so that the user stays on this actual page. And that's really, really important from an SEO perspective, because you don't want the users to be leaving the website. You want them to dwell on this page and dwell on the website in general for as long as possible, because it's a really strong trust signal. So in addition to that, they have 18 different photos. So someone who's really interested in this, they may want to look at these photos. And of course, it's going to open with the light box as well. And then the other thing that they do pretty well, which, if I was doing the SEO for this particular website, I would probably get a little more aggressive with the text, because they don't really have, this is literally just about one sentence about this season. And of course, there's some additional content down here explaining each episode. The challenge is when you go here, now we've just gone on to another page. So this is no longer the page that they're targeting. And that's okay if someone is searching for that specific episode. But I would try to keep all of this isolated on the one page so they can really dominate for it. So that's the one big change that I would probably make, is add a little more meat to this page as far as content. And of course, you're going to have all the user-generated content here from the people that do these reviews. And so that's certainly going to be helpful. But if this is a page that isn't performing particularly well relative to the other pages, then it would probably be a good idea just to add a little more meat to this page. And that should be more than enough to push it to the first page. And if it's not, then that's an indication that maybe it needs more backlink equity going to this page. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and look at how this page is actually performing from a link perspective. So you'll see that they do have links from pretty strong websites like Vice and Looper. So they are getting the backlinks they probably need. But what you'd want to do is you actually want to compare this keyword relative to their website. What we want to do is we go right into the Keyword Explorer, and what we want to see is, how is Rotten Tomatoes doing relative to the competition? And so we look at this, and it looks like the top ranking results here have a decent amount of backlinks, but these ones don't really have a ton. So this is an indication that, they could easily push up onto the first page if they just increase the amount of content on the page and maybe even acquired some more backlinks to this page, because this is pretty weak overall. Now, of course, these particular domains are very, very strong, but this one here, Watch Ricky and Morty Season 3, this is an exact match domain, or at least a partial match domain. So it's getting some added benefits for that. So they can certainly pass it because Rotten Tomatoes has way more authority than this website. So if they did focus their effort on this page, then they should definitely be able to pass him, and then definitely pass these daily motion videos, because video content, obviously, it's very hard to beat a page like Rotten Tomatoes where they have a lot of text, a lot of different types of media. So they should be able to beat this. And then these Amazon's really hard to beat, but they can certainly be beat if you have a page that is more content rich. So like I said, I'd go through all these keywords where their website is ranking on the second page, and I would try to optimize these pages a little more aggressively to try to bump these pages to the first page, because I know this would be the quickest win possible for a website that's already doing really well from an SEO perspective. So, going from position 14 to maybe position 8 for a keyword that gets over 1 million searches is a pretty substantial improvement. And so that could be a huge increase in long tail traffic and just organic search traffic in general. So, and imagine doing that on multiple pages. You're going to see a huge compounding effect by doing that. And so this is one of my favorite things to do when I'm trying to figure out how I can drive more traffic to a website that is already getting a lot of traffic. So the next thing I really like to do is I like to go to under the pages and then best by link section. And obviously for a website like this, you have to be very careful with the types of internal links that you add to the website because it can really disrupt the organic search performance. And that's one important point that I want to mention is that when you're working with websites that are already performing well from an organic search perspective, you need to be very, very careful with the changes that you make. And, it's the classic quote, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So you have to be very, very careful. And one thing that I like to do when I'm working with websites that are already doing really well is I just make very small incremental changes and then I test it and I see what's going on. So then what you can do is you can make a change, annotate that in Google Analytics, and then see what happens after that change. You need to give most changes at least a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months to really see the impact of that. But when you're working with a website like Rotten Tomatoes, for example, or something that gets a ton of traffic, they're also going to have a very high crawl rate, which means Google crawls their website very frequently, which means changes will probably be reflected a lot faster compared to a website that doesn't get a lot of traffic. So you can usually see the impact of whatever your action was fairly quickly. So anyway, what I like to do in this section is I like to see the pages that have the most backlinks. And the reason for that is because these pages can be leveraged to drive authority to other pages on the website that aren't performing well. So what I would do is I would just look at these pages and see, is there an opportunity for me to possibly maybe inject a link on a page like this? And, maybe a page that they have that's relevant to Batman or Superman isn't ranking very well. So what you could do is you could find an opportunity on this page where you could inject an internal link to whatever that page is that's not performing as well. And so this is a very, very powerful method. I actually call it the authority transfer technique. And this is actually something I do whenever I publish a new piece of content. I immediately look for existing pages that already have established link authority, and then I put an internal link on that page and drive that back to the new post. So right away out of the gate, that post is going to perform a lot better because it's already getting some authority and link equity going to it. And so this is a really quick way to get some quick wins. And, these first two tactics I've showed you, which is, try to boost the pages that are on the second page, try to push them onto the first page, and then also leveraging pages that already have a lot of authority and backlink equity. Just these two methods alone are a great way to increase organic search traffic without a ton of effort. What I do is I go to the broken backlink section, and this is a way for you to reclaim lost link equity. And so you would just go through all these opportunities here, and you would see if these backlinks are actually broken. So in some cases, it looks like, these are just going to be 301 redirects. Or in some cases, this is just going to be a broken link in general. So we'll actually go ahead and just copy this, and then we'll see if this link is actually broken. So this links to the Wikipedia page for Rotten Tomatoes, but this is the one we really care about here. It looks like this is a 404 error. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to, in the case of Wikipedia, you could just get this changed by reaching out to the editor. But if this was a different website, a website with an editorial process, you'd want to outreach and just ask them if they can fix the backlink. And so going through this list is one of the fastest ways for you to recapture lost link equity. And this is really one of my favorite techniques, especially when you're working with a website that has so many backlinks like Rotten Tomatoes. This is a really quick way for you to recapture a lot of that authority, which will, as a result, probably increase your organic search traffic, because the more authority your website has, the better it's going to perform. So then the next thing I would do is I would go to this broken links section under outgoing links. And the reason is because it's just a bad user experience if someone clicks through on one of these external links and it takes them to a 404 page. So we'll go ahead and see if this is an actual 404 page. Maybe we'll search for something like this. So it looks like this is linking out so yeah, so this page is officially a 404 page. So then what you want to do is you just want to go through all of these opportunities here and clean up all of these broken external links, because it really is a bad user experience when you're leaking out to these different websites and they're totally dead or 404 errors. So anything that is going to negatively impact user experience on the website is something that needs to be fixed, because that's something that Google really cares about as well. So if Google's crawling the site and they're seeing that so many of these outbound links are going to broken resources, that's going to decrease the trust a little bit. And so it's just a good general practice to go through and fix all of these broken external links. So that's pretty much it for using Ahrefs to kind of analyze what's going on. One other thing you could do is you can actually go ahead and analyze their competition as well. And so to find their competition, you just need to go down here. And what you can do is you can actually just copy these URLs. So what we'll do is we'll actually go up here and we'll use their Ahrefs content gap tool. And this is a really, really awesome tool, because you're going to be able to see the domains that you compete with, and you're going to be able to see what keywords you're not currently ranking for relative to the competitors. So we're going to go ahead and just copy maybe 3 of these people here, and maybe AMC, because Amazon's too general. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and skip that. Okay. So what this tool is going to do is it's going to show you all of the keywords that these 3 competitors are ranking for, but Rotten Tomatoes is not ranking for. And so if I was Rotten Tomatoes, I'd go through this and see, hey, okay, look at all these different keywords that we're not currently ranking for. So like right away, a few, some of these are going to be branded keywords and movies near me. This could be something that Rotten Tomatoes would want to rank for. But I feel like some of these other things, such as AMC Walking Dead, this could be something that Rotten Tomatoes would want to rank for, or Walking Dead cast, or Denzel Washington movies. These are all different types of keywords that would be a good thing for Rotten Tomatoes to go after. So what you would want to do is you want to copy all of these keywords and then figure out how you're going to attack them. So that's pretty much it for using Ahrefs to kind of figure out, where are the quick wins for this particular website. So the next thing I would do is I would go into SiteLiner and see if there are any duplicate content issues, any type of content issues that could be negatively affecting the site. And then obviously, without having access to their backend, it's really hard to kind of see what's going on from crawl rates and indexing and things like that. You can get a lot of intel just by using some of these tools. So this is a good tool. And then also using Pingdom. So we got Pingdom. So what we want to do is basically just see, how fast their website's loading. And it looks like it's going to be a while before I can do that. And then we'll also go to Google's mobile friendly test. This is a good thing to check as well, because you want to make sure that the website's performing well on mobile, especially a website like Rotten Tomatoes, where probably most of its users are going to be coming from mobile. We'll go ahead and go to the actual tool here, and then we'll go ahead and run the test. Okay, so this quickly finished, and their website is definitely mobile friendly. So while we wait for some of these analysis tools to finish, we can look at the website in general. So it's unfair for a lot of reasons. Websites like Rotten Tomatoes that have a ton of authority, they can get away with things that smaller websites probably wouldn't be able to get away with. So for example, having this ad block above the fold and really the first thing that you see on the page is something that Google has said countless times that it is frowned upon. And actually it's something that Google's Panda algorithm can target with having ads above the fold. But of course, Google is not going to penalize a website like Rotten Tomatoes that probably brings a lot of ad revenue. So there are some unfair advantages when it comes to SEO. This is one of them. You're not going to be treated the same, but that is okay. But outside of that, Rotten Tomatoes, it's really fascinating to see their design, because the new trend for design is to have these full width designs, and Rotten Tomatoes actually sticks with the old school blocked out design, and that's very effective for them. and it keeps you really focused on the content itself, which is what really matters. So the other big thing that I'd probably want to dive deeper into, which I'm not going to be able to go too deep into it in this video, but it would be their site architecture. And they have a lot going on here. And so it would take me at least a week to try to figure out what's going on here and try to map out this site architecture. But I'm sure there is a thought process behind a lot of these menu items that they have. And so obviously without having, their in-house information and having access to their strategy, it's very hard for me to know what they're trying to achieve. But if I was looking at this from a totally outside perspective, I would try to first draw out how I think the architecture should be, and then I would look at their existing architecture and see where we can make some slight adjustments to hopefully increase organic search traffic. And like I said before, when you're making these types of changes on a website like this, you want to be really, really careful. So for example, I had a client that sold house plans, and they really are dominating organic search for anything related to house plans. But they were using some really old school methods. So they had, footer links at the bottom of their website with keyword rich internal anchors, and those were site wide. And so obviously I felt very uncomfortable about that because that's a kind of an old school practice. But the problem is that it was working. And so I had to be very careful with maneuvering that issue. So what I did is I would change one internal link and make it so it only showed up on the homepage as opposed to site-wide. And then I'd see the impact of doing that. And, sometimes there would be an increase in organic search traffic, other times there would be a decrease. But the good news is when you make small changes, you can always go back and re-implement whatever you made a change to. So it's just really, really important to track what you're doing, because otherwise you'll be making all these different changes and then you're gonna have no idea what actually made the traffic fluctuate in a positive or negative direction. And so keep track of every change that you make so you can see the impact of what you did. Okay, so I'm back here on SiteLiner, and what I would do is obviously, you need to do the premium version for a website like Rotten Tomatoes, but just for this example. So we go to the duplicate content. We want to see if there are any issues here regarding that. And, there probably aren't going to be too many severe issues because they've really been in this game for a long time. So I doubt they have much duplicate content that's going to cause any issues. But if we go ahead and look and see, we have browse, CF, DVD, streaming all. So SiteLiner claims that it's matching this, but I think all that's really happening here is it's just matching some of the menu items and stuff like that. So there's not going to be any issues here. Rotten Tomatoes is not copying pages. Every single page on their website pretty much has unique content. So that's an important lesson as well. As you've heard me say this many times, but every single page on your website should have completely unique content. You should never, use a boiler template and just take certain pieces of content, put it on each page on your website. You should always try to make every page unique, especially pages that you're trying to rank in Google for a particular keyword phrase. Because if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, every single page that they create is going to be completely unique for whatever that topic is. So definitely follow what they do because they do it very, very well. And go on your own and even analyze some of their pages because, like I said, they do some things that are so incredibly smart that I feel like more people should be doing. And the biggest thing that I really find amazing about their strategy is the video content and the different forms of media. Their pages are really, really effective. And this is a great template for building out keyword targeted pages. So definitely take notes on what they do and even try to emulate some of the things that they do because they get it when it comes down to it. And like I said, there are going to be some situations where maybe they should beef up the content a little bit for those pages that aren't ranking well. But for the most part, obviously, based on the traffic that they get, they know what they're doing. So now Pingdom is officially done, and it looks like their website loading speed is actually a little slow. And this can happen with the website that's as big as Rotten Tomatoes, but still, this is not an ideal loading speed. And so this would be something you definitely want to tackle because it can have a huge impact. If you take this, from a 4.75 to maybe like a 2.75, that's going to have a monumental impact on the user experience on the website. This is a high priority issue that they would want to tackle. And one thing that I recommend you do when you're doing these site loading speed audits is run this test 5 to 10 times and then average out the average loading speed. That way you get kind of an idea of what the average loading speed is compared to, just doing it once, and it's going to be the loading speed in New York, but the loading speed for San Jose location or Australia is going to be totally different. So that's why it's important to get the average to see, where you really stand with your website loading speed. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this SEO analysis. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up and leave a comment below if you have any questions whatsoever. And like I said at the beginning of the video, we are running a giveaway. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, and comment on this video. And we're going to select one person who's going to win lifetime access to Gotch SEO Academy. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And hopefully my voice will sound a lot better in the next video. Thanks again for watching.